everyone, it's Velo here. Welcome to a new video. Today we are doing a small tutorial on how to create Asian Sims or Asian looking Sims. Of course, it's a game and people don't really have an origin there, but I wanted to show you some tips and tricks that I like to use, as well as some CC that I like to use when I want to make my Sims look more Asian and give them those very stereotypical Asian features. Of course, everyone looks different and everyone is unique, but in The Sims you need to kind of understand the stereotypes and kind of the things that are most usual in terms of like facial structure and stuff like that. So I thought that's what we're gonna talk about, and yeah, I'm just gonna guide you and I hope this will be helpful for you. So the first category is facial structure, so basically everything that you can push and pull on the Sim's face here, and most of these things also have a preset. Now I just kind of randomized the Sim and just gave her like black hair and brown eyes, the very stereotypical Asian look, but we will be working on her features a little bit more. Now the first thing I want to start with, because I think this is very important, is skin tone. And if you go wrong with the skin tone, you can't really save your Sims anymore, so I can't stress this enough. Now, I have a lot of custom skin colors, but we will be mainly focusing on these ones without the little wrench that are the EA colors that everyone has in their game. And the first tip I want to give you is please try to stay away from these first two swatches here. These two. They are so yellow and so off that they are almost racist. It's not a good look. No one actually looks like this. This is not a very natural skin color. Asians having like yellow skin is such a misconception, so I would definitely advise you to stay away from these two first swatches, and I would rather go for like a medium light skin tone. I think this one is good, so I think it's the 5th of the Max's skin colors, and then there are a few that are a little bit red, but this one is good. And then these two are probably the ones I used most, this one and this one. So they're like much more natural, like a skin tone the actual person would have, but they still have like some yellow undertones, especially this one. You can still see it has a lot of yellow undertones, but it's not like that's bad. And then some Asians, of course, are more tanned. Everyone looks different. You could also get away with like a little bit deeper complexion. I maybe wouldn't go deeper than this. And then I do have the Mirror Melanin collection, and I do believe this last swatch here is meant for Asian Sims, and even if it's not, it's very good for it. So yeah, but let's go for probably this one. This one I think is a very natural and nice skin color. Then next up, let's go to eyes. I think if you have the right skin details, and we'll be coming back to those later, you can pretty much get away with any kinds of eyes. And of course the color, if you want to be accurate, it would usually be like a very dark brown, so that's what I would do. But of course you could wear colored lenses or something. But the eye shape that I would usually go for is probably one with like a little bit of an eye bag under the eye, as well as like an eyelid that's not completely hooded, but it's not like super visible either. So something like this, maybe where it's visible, you can see that there is a lid going on there, but it's not as prominent as like in this one, for example. Let's go for this one, and yeah, I think this is a pretty nice shape for eyes. It's kind of almondy, but it's a little bit smaller than some other eye shapes, and yeah, you can pretty much get away with anything, I think. And yeah, everyone looks different. Now the next thing I'm noticing is that her nose is a little bit pointier than I would like it to be. I would like it to be like closer to her face and kind of a little bit more round. So something like this. This is a custom preset, and for example this one is pretty good from EA. And of course you can always go and just, you know, drag it closer to the face. That's what I would do. I feel like Asians often have a small nose, not always, again, just going with the stereotypes, but I would bring it in like so that it's quite round and it's quite close to her face. Let's go maybe for this one, and let's just go here and bring this part in a little bit. So I would do something like this. Now I think her cheekbones and like the profile otherwise is pretty good. I don't mind it. I'm not gonna change it too much. Now some Asians have really high cheekbones, so if you want that, of course you can do that. But again, there are so many different there are so many different kinds of people, and one thing I would maybe do if you really want to make like Asian looking Sims or any Sims basically is just to Google like images of actual people, so you might get a better idea of what you want to do and what you should be working with. And same goes with the like jaw and the chin. Of course, it's always different what is the beauty standard and what's like more natural, but the beauty standard in especially Eastern Asia is definitely a very lean and V-shaped jawline, so something like this, and a very small chin as well. And many people actually get plastic surgery for that, so this would be something of a very like beautiful considered jawline, but I kind of liked how it was before, so let's go back to that. Maybe something like that. Again, there are so many different variables. Then next up we have lips. Again, you could pretty much get away with anything, but I would give you tips to go for lips that are a little bit bigger and a little bit puffer, so not like your thinnest lips but also not your like biggest lips. And I just personally like when there is a little bit of teeth showing, and that's considered quite cute in Japan at least. But pretty much anything goes. You could do pretty much anything you want, but let's maybe go for some Maxis preset. This one is quite nice, and I'm just gonna go to detail edit mode and make the lips a little bit puffer, but also make the mouth a little bit less wide, so something like this. Now the last thing we have left to do in the face is the eyebrows, and these eyebrows definitely do not scream Asian for me. I think what is more fashionable and more common in Asia also like naturally is like very straight eyebrows, so I would pick maybe something like this, and I would make them quite how would you say, not arched. Like it's very fashionable in the West to have very arched eyebrows, but in Asia it's pretty much the opposite, so I might even go as far as to make them look a little bit sad if I wanted to do a sim like that. Of course, again, and I can't stress this enough, there are so many different ways you could go. And most of the like skin details and body presets that I'm using are in another video that I made. I will link that down below, so if you want links to any of the stuff I'm using, it's probably going to be there. But yeah, I think we have the facial structure about right. What I might still do is go here and make her like cheeks a little bit bigger. Maybe like that. So she has a bit of a round face, very round nose and round lips, and these I don't know, are these almond shaped eyes kinda? I'm not really sure, but I think I like her face now. So let's move on to the next category. So next up we have skin details, and like I said, most of the skin details will be linked in another video that I will link to this video in the description down below, so you can go check that out. I will just show you the ones that are my favorites for making your Sims face a little bit more unique and Asian looking. And first one is this skin overlay by Heihu, and I do believe it was meant to be an Asian overlay, but I think it's very versatile. But here you can see it gives you a little bit of glow, it smoothens out some bits of the face, and there's a lot of variables here, so you could do pretty much anything you would like to. With this, I think it has some very great options. Some of them even add a little bit of an eye bag under your Sim's eyes, which I really like, and I just think this is an overall very good and very versatile skin overlay. I use it for pretty much all of my Sims, so there is that. And then we have this one, it is the Mitsuha skin overlay. I can't remember the creator, but it was specifically meant to be like an Asian overlay. So if you can see, here's the face without it, and here's with it. It's quite a drastic change, and you can notice that it creates this more of a monolith shaped eye to the eye. It adds a little bit of an eye bag, and I think it also made her mouth a little bit smaller. So that's a quite drastic change, but it's definitely a thing you might want to consider trying out and experimenting with. You could like pair it up with some other skin overlay like this to make it look a little bit different, but definitely a good thing to have if you are looking for a CC that will make your Sims look more Asian. Then next up I want to show you these eye bags, the Tomo eye bags I think they're called, and they just add a little shadow under your Sim's eyes. Again, you could use this for anyone, but I especially like to use this swatch for my Asian Sims so that it looks like they have a little bit more of an eye bag going on, and I really like this look. Now, another thing I would just recommend overall, what I really like using is, you know, just natural hairlines like this, and especially for Asian Sims, they usually have very dark hair, so you might want to bring that in a little bit more here. I just think this is a very nice detail for anyone pretty much, but I wanted to include it in this video in case you want to have this kind of an effect. And the last item I want to show you from the skin detail category is this mouth corner detail by Praline Sims. Again, you could use this for anyone, but I think for especially like your cutesy looking Asian Sims, it's very good. So it just adds like a little shadows to the corner of her mouth, and yeah, just a very nice little detail. So I think I'll leave this at that. And yeah, those are some of my favorite skin overlays for making your Sims look more Asian. Of course, you have to find the balance, and you can combine different things and, you know, just find out what works for you. But next up, let's take a look at hair and also makeup. Now again, hair is one of those categories where you could pretty much have anything going on, you could get away with anything, but I'm gonna try to show you some hairstyles that I think are fashionable in Asia and could go with this kind of a look very well. Now, I think that having bangs always gives your Sims a little bit more detail, and it's definitely a very common thing to have, especially in Eastern Asia, so I would definitely recommend like checking out some hairstyles with bangs. This one I think is super cute on her. It's a long bob that's very fashionable, at least in Japan. Like I said, most of my experience comes from there, and unless you're making like a very rebellious Sim, I would avoid like very short or shaved hairstyles on girls. But of course, again, you can do whatever you want. It's The Sims, it's a game, it's fun. And here we have some like pigtails, ponytails. This is very good if you want to have like a very cutesy sim, maybe dress them up in Lolita style or something. And of course, like we have a long bob without any bangs. I think this is super cute as well. But yeah, like I said, you could pretty much get away with anything, and there are a lot of options there, so just go crazy and do whatever you would like to give your sim a little bit of character. So yeah, I don't have much to say about this category. Maybe I really like the short bob, so let's do this one. Next up, let's go to makeup, and of course, again, this varies, but what I would do with an Asian sim is give her a very natural and light makeup. Especially in Japan, girls like to do makeup and they can spend a lot of time on it, but still they usually like it to look natural. Of course, if you're not into that, there are of course people who also do some crazy amazing makeup looks, but I would just go for, if any eyeshadow at all, something that's very close to their skin color or something glowy, not very like glittery, but just like a glow. And for blush, I would either go for a very intense look, like for more of a J fashion inspired look, or then relatively like no blush at all, or something very subtle, maybe something like this. But one tip that I would give you is that, especially in Japan, I keep saying this, but you know, that's where my knowledge comes from mostly. It's usual to put blush around here, so a lot higher than we would do in Western countries. In Western countries we would put blush around this bit here, but in Japan it's very fashionable to have it more around your eyes, and I do have some examples where it's very visible, like this one. It's very over the top, but it was made, I think it was a Japanese CC creator, so it shows you that the blush is very intense and very much concentrated around the eyes. And then for lips, I would rather go for a lip tint or a gloss rather than a full-on lipstick. So what we have here, we have this lip tint that is very pretty, comes in all these quite natural shades, but you can still see that it's clearly put on. Here's another one of these in more crazy swatches. And then we have also these very natural lips by Pixies. So these ones are probably the ones I would recommend and I would use out of my collection. Also, one lipstick from Get to Work is very good for this. Yeah, so this one, it's a glossy lipstick that's only in the center, so it kind of looks like a lip tint. And if you pair it up with the correct swatch, it looks very pretty, I think. So even if you don't use CC, I would definitely recommend using this Get to Work lipstick. Then one last thing for the makeup category. Now this is not really in the makeup category, but I feel like it kind of goes with it. So you probably know about the Kijiko 3D lashes, and if you use CC, you're probably using them, but I would want to recommend this uncurled version of these lashes. So it's the same kind of a thing, but you can see that the lashes are not curled, they're not as prominent, and you know, especially the top is a lot less visible. And I think this can look so good on some sims. Of course, not everyone, and it's not everyone's thing, but I feel like if you want to make a very natural looking Asian beauty, you should definitely try this out. I will link these down below, they are so good. But of course you could use the bigger lashes, the curled ones. They are also very pretty, and you can totally get away with this. Last up we have clothes and also the body shape. I just quickly wanted to address the body shape. Again, it's very stereotypical and not everyone is the same, but with this sim I would definitely make her a little less curvy and more like she can be very skinny, but more like her waist isn't that different like from her hips and stuff like that. So something like this, a little less curvy, and I would maybe also, just because I like it, make her a little bit like thicker and a little bit like, you know, softer. I feel like Asian girls are soft looking. I'm sorry if that's creepy, but I just feel like it's true. So I would do maybe something like this. And now for clothes, of course, if you just want to make a sim that has Asian genetics, they might dress up in any way you want them to, but I have gathered like some CC creators and some examples of what I would recommend, and these outfits are not well put together. I just kind of wanted to show you different pieces and different creators, and the first creator and probably the first thing I would do if you are looking for Asian fashion inspired clothes is I would go and check out Marigold. They are an amazing CC creator. Here you can see some of their creations. Here's this adorable little cardigan, here's some other shirts, and it is a little bit more alpha, but I think their things are so great I could not be without them anymore. And also this skirt is by them. I'm just gonna show you a couple things from here, as well as the socks. I'm not sure who the shoes are by, but I would definitely recommend getting some platform shoes, or then just using some quite regular sneakers or combat boots, for example, or something like that. But if you are interested, definitely go check out Marigold. Then in accessories, I recently found this creator. I think they're quite new too, but they're Korean as well, by the way, as well as Marigold. But these earrings, for example, are by Knokkonk. I'm not sure how to say it, but they are so cute, and I swear when I was in Japan, this kind of an earring was in every store. And here's another one. I think these are just so beautiful. And here's another one, these shells, and then there are also these little heart cherries. And yeah, that's another creator I would definitely recommend to check out if you are interested in things like this. Then next outfit is again not well put together at all, but what I wanted to show you is mainly this accessory shirt, and I just feel like it's such an Asian thing to always layer multiple tops on each other, and this accessory shirt is again by Marigold, so I definitely love it, and you can put it under any shirt you have. I did discover recently it doesn't work with everything, but it should work with like more loose shirts, so you can put it under pretty much anything. So that's definitely an accessory I would recommend if you want to play with Asian fashion. And another one, like I said, is sneakers, and especially if you have like white or very pastel colored platform sneakers. Those are a must. And also just a regular sneaker. It's very common that you would see just a very regular pair of sneakers even with like a skirt or a pantsuit. So yeah, that's definitely something very trendy. And of course, a very cliche, but also I think a very must item if you want to create especially Japanese girls, is a plaid short skirt. I have quite many, but I chose to show you this one, so you can make it quite casual but also a little bit more schoolgirl or whatever you would like to. And then I would definitely recommend getting a lot of different kinds of socks. I love using socks as an accessory myself, and I would definitely recommend that for your Sims. I know Marigold has some. These are by Marigold, and Kismet Sims just released this like 3D sock collection where you can see that the texture is like a little bit 3D and they're still very matchy. Here's another pair. These are super cute, and I could definitely see a lot of Japanese girls wear something like this. And lastly, I wanted to show you this dress. I think this is a must piece if you are open to like more alpha things and you like Japanese fashion or Asian fashion in general, this I think is a recolor and here is the original one. So if you have both, you have quite a lot of options here. So it just comes, it's a very simple dress, but it comes in very interesting like shapes and patterns. So I think that's very, very cool and I really love this item. And something like this is definitely what you could see in Asia for sure. Now let's try and create an Asian looking male sim. Now I'm not as good with like male sims as I am with girls, but let's try it anyway, just very quickly and see what we end up with. Okay, whatever. I don't think I did a very good job, but I tried. Okay, I was definitely going for more of a K-pop vibe, with the hair and like the facial structure, but I don't know, like he does kind of look Asian, but I'm not sure if it's what I was going for. But anyway, I tried, and that is like also a tip for you. Like if you don't first succeed, you just have to try and try again. So yeah, I guess that is it. I hope this was even a little bit useful, and I will be linking like the main CC things that I use in the description down below so that you can find them. I'll be linking the skin overlays and the hairs that I've used on these sims, as well as the like CC creators that I mentioned, so you can find them easily. And yeah, let me know how you think I did. I'm sorry if I didn't like answer some of your questions, but maybe you can let me know and we can discuss them or something. And I hope this was helpful, and if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps me a lot, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon again. Bye bye!